How does the wealth of one of the world's most powerful leaders remain shrouded in mystery? Vladimir Putin, a name synonymous with Russian politics, has been the president of Russia since 2012, following a previous presidency and a term of prime minister. Known for his strongman image and significant influence on global affairs, Putin's leadership has been marked by both controversy and admiration. In this video, we'll explore and analyze the alleged wealth of Vladimir Putin. Despite his modest official income, rumors and reports suggest a hidden fortune far exceeding his declared assets. Is it really true? Let's find out. According to official financial disclosures, Vladimir Putin's wealth appears surprisingly modest for a world leader. He declared annual income is reportedly around $140,000, and his assets include a modest apartment, a couple of Soviet-era cars, and a small plot of land. This official declaration paints a picture of a leader with a lifestyle far from opulent. However, this official portrayal starkly contrasts with the luxurious lifestyle Putin is often associated with. Reports and rumors suggest he owns palatial residences, luxury yachts, and has access to a vast wealth far exceeding his official income. One report by opposition leader Alexei Navalny claims Putin enjoys a lavish estate on the Black Sea, dubbed Putin's Palace, estimated to be worth over $1 billion. This estate is said to feature everything from an underground hockey rink to a private vineyard. The disparities between Putin's declared assets and the rumored evidence of extreme wealth raises significant questions. How does a leader with an official income comparable to a successful professional amass such rumored riches? Allegations of undisclosed wealth and offshore accounts, ties with wealthy oligarchs, and involvement in state-run businesses are among the theories that attempt to explain this discrepancy. These rumors, albeit unconfirmed, fuel a narrative of a leader whose wealth and power extends far beyond what is officially acknowledged, casting a shadow over the transparency and integrity of political wealth in Russia. The hidden wealth. The true extent of Vladimir Putin's wealth has been a subject of speculation and investigative efforts. One of the most notable investigations was conducted by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, which unearthed the Panama Papers. These documents hinted at a network of secret offshore accounts and assets linked to Putin's close associates, suggesting an indirect trail to the Russian leader's hidden wealth. Additionally, former Russian insiders and business people have periodically come forward alleging Putin's control over a significant portion of Russia's wealth, though these claims often lack concrete evidence. Estimates of Putin's wealth vary widely, with some sources claiming to be as high as $200 billion. These figures would place him among the wealthiest individuals globally, surpassing well-known billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Bill Bowder, a former fund manager in Russia, has been vocal in his claims about Putin's wealth, suggesting figures in the billions, allegedly accumulated through corrupt practices. However, these estimates are often based on conjecture and indirect evidence, as there is no definitive proof of such vast personal wealth. Allegations of Putin's undeclared properties and assets are rife. Reports suggest ownership in luxury residences across Russia and Europe, often registered under the names of close associates. The most famous of these is the so-called Putin's Palace near Glenzik on the Black Sea coast. Luxury yachts such as the Olympia have been linked to Putin, although officially they belong to his close friends or associates. These allegations paint a picture of complex networks of assets carefully hidden from public view and official declarations. Sources of wealth. The sources of Vladimir Putin's alleged wealth are as complex as they are opaque. It is suggesting that much of his wealth, if it exists, comes from his control over and involvement in Russian state businesses. Putin's position allows him significant influence over Russia's vast natural resources, including oil and gas, which are key drivers in the country's economy. Putin's relationship with a cadre of wealthy Russian oligarchs is well documented. Many of these oligarchs owe their fortune to the privatization of state assets in the 90s and their subsequent loyalty to Putin. In return, it's speculated that they provide Putin with financial benefits and support his personal and political endeavors. Additionally, Putin's influence over state-owned enterprises such as Gazprom and Rosneft could also be a potential source of wealth, albeit hidden and indirect. Allegations of corruption, embezzlement, and involvement in illicit activities have been consistent with the backdrop to Putin's tenure as Russian leader. Critics and opposition figures accuse him of leveraging his position to amass wealth through kickbacks, bribes, and misappropriation of state funds. While concrete evidence is scarce due to the secretive nature of the Russian political elite, these allegations suggest a complex web of corruption and financial manipulation at the highest levels of Russian governance, potentially contributing significantly to Putin's personal wealth. The role of power in wealth accumulation. Political power in Russia, particularly under Vladimir Putin's leadership, has been central to wealth accumulation for many in the country's elite. As president, Putin wields substantial influence over economic decisions and legislative changes and the distribution of state resources. This level of control provides opportunities to direct wealth and resources in ways that can benefit him and his inner circle. The blurred lines between political power and business interests allows for creation of favorable conditions for wealth accumulation, often at the expense of competition and market fairness. In Russia, the intersection of politics and business is particularly pronounced. Many oligarchs and business leaders maintain close relationships with Putin and other political figures, often in exchange for political favors and protection. The symbiotic relationship means that business success in Russia can be heavily dependent on political alignment and loyalty. In this environment, wealth accumulation is not solely a result of business acumen, but is also influenced by political standing and connections. Control over Russia's key industries, especially natural resources like oil and gas, play a significant role in wealth accumulation. These industries are often controlled by state-owned enterprises or by private companies with strong ties to the Kremlin. Putin's influence in these sectors suggests that he could potentially benefit from these benefits, indirectly taking or directly taking. The lack of transparency in financial dealings and the state's role in the economy might make it more difficult to trace the flow of benefits and how they contribute to the personal wealth of the country's leadership. Comparing Vladimir Putin's alleged wealth with other world leaders highlights significant disparities. While many leaders, such as the US presidents or European prime ministers, publicly disclose their assets and income, often showing modest wealth relative to their positions, Putin's rumored wealth stands in stark contrast. Leaders in democratic countries typically have their finances scrutinized and are subject to strict regulations, whereas Putin operates in a system with less transparency and accountability, allowing for the possibility and significance, albeit unverified, wealth accumulation. The methods of wealth accumulation and the levels of transparency are markedly different between Putin and other world leaders. In many other democracies, leaders' wealth often comes from their previous careers, investments, and book deals, and is usually disclosed to the public. In contrast, Putin's alleged wealth accumulation is shrouded in secrecy, with claims of it stemming from control over state assets, ties with oligarchs, and alleged involvement in corrupt practices. The lack of transparency and the nature of these alleged sources of wealth highlight a significant deviation from the norms observed in other global leadership contexts. International responses and sanctions. The international community has often responded to Vladimir Putin's alleged corruptions and wealth with criticism and, in many cases, sanctions. Western governments, particularly those of the United States and the European Union, have expressed concerns over Putin's authoritarian style of governance, alleged human rights abuses, and the lack of transparency in Russia's political and economic systems. These concerns have led to various diplomatic actions, including the imposition of sanctions against Russia's individuals and entities believed to be connected to Putin. Sanctions imposed by the international community have targeted individuals and businesses close to Putin, aiming to restrict their access to global financial systems and markets. These sanctions include asset freezes, travel bans, and restrictions on doing business with Western entities. While the direct impact of these sanctions on Putin's personal wealth is unclear, they've created significant challenges for his associates and, by extension, potentially for Putin himself. The sanctions also have broader implications for the Russian economy, affecting its ability to attract foreign investment and engage in international trade. Efforts to uncover and freeze assets abroad linked to Putin and his inner circle have been part of the international response to alleged corruption in Russia. Governments and financial institutions in Europe and North America have increased scrutiny of transactions and holdings suspected of being connected to the Russian elites. Various investigative bodies and NGOs have also been active in tracing and publicizing these assets, although the secretive nature of these holdings makes it a challenging endeavor. The Russian perspective. With Russia, perceptions of Putin's wealth vary. While some Russians view Putin as a strong leader who has also restored Russia's status on the world stage, others are critical of the alleged corruption and wealth disparities in the country. The lack of independent media coverage in Russia means that many citizens may not be fully aware of the allegations surrounding Putin's wealth, or that they may view such allegations as Western propaganda. Despite allegations of corruption and immense wealth, Putin has maintained a strong political standing in Russia, partly due to his control over the media and suppression of political opposition. His public image is carefully curated to portray him as a robust and capable leader, emphasizing his role in stabilizing Russia and defending its interests against perceived external threats. However, economic challenges and international isolation could potentially affect his popularity. The role of media and propaganda in Russia is significant in shaping public opinion about Putin. State-controlled media often present Putin in the positive light, highlighting his leadership qualities and downplaying or ignoring allegations of corruption and wealth accumulation. Independent media outlets that challenge the official narrative are frequently suppressed, making it difficult for alternative viewpoints to reach the broader public. The control over the media enables the government to influence public perception and maintain a favorable image of Putin among many Russian citizens.